Good morning, everyone. I'm doing things a little differently this morning. It is Monday, the 6th of June, 2022, and I'm just outside on like a wooded trail area by my house with my dogs, and yeah, I was just thinking about just what's been going on in the news more recently about possible famines and possible food shortages and like possible other pandemics and things like that again are just out being discussed, right? Like even in Davos, and then again food plants being burned, or a lot of explosions, a lot of supply chain issues, and of course like infighting in various regions of the world where there's like wheat and soil and seed, significant amount of resources that are being impacted and or being prevented from reaching certain places. And so whenever we see these headlines or the news or people tell us about these things, it elicits an emotional response, right? It elicits a survival reaction, a survival response. So we've got fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, but we always tend to react in certain areas in a way that doesn't necessarily help, not only in the short term but the long term. So for example, for that is like at the start of the pandemic, and then whenever there's been lockdowns and stuff like that, we at least in North America, but more in North America, I was tracking just the behavioral patterns amongst us humans, and people were consuming a lot, right? So everyone, like within like a 24, 48, or 72-hour period, starts rushing to get like so many resources and over consume, because when we're also scared, we tend to get more stressed out, we can burn more calories, and then so we also need to eat more as well, and then or we become dehydrated more, so then we have to drink more water, and when we buy all of these pallets of food and water and toilet paper and everything, we're actually creating like a huge imbalance and shortfalls in other areas of the world, right? So the more impoverished countries, or the countries where they are the ones that are doing most of the labor and the work, and the resources are coming from their countries, we're exhausting all of those resources that they're making and building and or growing or shipping or whatever, or need for their own survival. We're over exhausting them because we're over consuming. So this is the balance too, right? We have more people that are obese in certain countries. Like again, when I say obese, I'm talking about like we're seeing like if you want the limit of concern, I guess it would be like anything above like 400 or 500 pounds, like for an individual. We're seeing more and more increases, like percentages of like our populations that are trending towards that than they have before. And so I'm not talking about if you like, anyways, but also like now the undernourishment in other countries is now being more profound and more deeply impactful as well. And so like when we're eating more and drinking more, especially like when again we see like famine's coming, and like we're all these like these food plants and things like that are going under or impacted. So yeah, like we're taking all the resources that like people in third world countries or other countries will need during these times as well, because we're not being more balanced. And like the less we react and the less fear-based we are, the less resources we're gonna think that we need or want or use, and then there's gonna be less people in other places that are gonna need to do all the work to make sure that I have these things that may or may not be superfluous, like materials or items or food sources and things like that. And we can go a long time without food, and like even like depending on the situation, like we can even go a few days without water. But so we don't I'm just hoping that I can just like leave that out there and just say that like we do need to make sure that there's homeostasis and balance. And same thing with firearms, and same thing with so many other things. We need to ensure that we're looking at the long-term trends and or the short-term impacts even to what we're doing, and just be more mindful of that. And so if anything else comes, for example, like in Canada, like I'm hoping that that people are already prepped enough, or doing it during periods of where there's not any like adverse situations, And I'm only saying this because we're in, you know, like a situation now in the last 2 years, over 2 years, that we haven't been at before, right? It's like a little bit more unprecedented in our lifetime. And so these are the times too, like if and when you do go out, just like maybe prep a little more, so that when we do have like emergency situations, we're not all going out at the same time and then over consuming because we're terrified, and then again like creating more imbalance. If you like spread things out and just like add a few more things to your cupboard, learn how to bake more, learn how to use like more like I don't know, like less ingredients and things, and like less processed food, and like and just that also builds confidence. And so like if you're living in fear over like food shortages or water shortages or things that are being pushed on us in the media, because what you resist persists. So by responding to, this is what I mean by you're making things actually the way they want them to be because of the way you're responding. If you're responding, or if we are responding in a fear-based way. And life's not that bad. But it's also bad too, right? So let's balance as well. Yeah, so on that note, I'm just, there's a lot more information coming out now on certain like organizations and leaders of different places and corporations where like there was proof that they took silicone injections or didn't get injected at all, and being able to like travel and go all over the world and work and everything like that, and made you and I, you know what I mean, be the ones that took products that had a lot more adverse reactions and side effects than they said, and yeah, and they didn't even take it. So we can take it, we can risk our own health, but nope, because they're better than us. It's so ignorant. And yeah, and they're only interested in countries that have like more money anyways, right? So like even with the vaccines, like why is there still many countries that don't have these vaccines if they're so effective? It's because they don't have the money. And so less interest. And anyway, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And on that note, I don't want to be gone too long for my doggies. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.